They fired me for feeding a guard on duty. What happened next will shock you. They said I crossed the line. They said I was wrong for feeding a guard. They said it made the company look bad. So they fired me. They threw me out like I had no value. But what they didn't know? That guard they looked down on was the owner's son. And now, before I continue, take a little of your precious time to like, subscribe, and share this story. Thank you, and God bless you. Now let us start. My name is Adora. I am 26 years old. I live in Abuja with my 2 younger brothers. My parents died 2 years ago. First my mom, then my dad. My father was a teacher. He worked hard, but we were never rich. When he passed, everything changed. I became the mother in the house. I started doing everything: feeding, cleaning, paying bills, praying. I couldn't finish school. I had 1 more year left, but the fees were too much, and my brothers needed me. So I looked for work everywhere. Shops, hotels, banks, nobody called. Then one day, I saw a job poster. Receptionist needed. Clean, quiet, organized. I applied. 2 weeks later, I got the job. The office was big. Clean floors, cold air, glass everywhere. They gave me a white shirt and a name tag. Receptionist Adora. I sat at the front desk. Near the door, I smiled at visitors, answered phones, typed papers. Most people in the office didn't talk to me. They walked past me like I was furniture, but I didn't mind. I was working and I was feeding my family. Every day I woke up at 4:45 a.m. I ironed my shirt, brushed my shoes, cooked jollof rice and boiled eggs for my brothers. Then I took one bus, then another bus, and walked 15 minutes to the office. I was always early, always polite, always quiet. The only people who talked to me were the cleaners and the guards. One guard, Emeka, was always on night duty. He was tall, quiet, looked tired all the time. He used to sit near the gate with a small notebook. Sometimes he wrote, sometimes he just stared into the dark. One morning, I came in early. It had rained all night. I saw him sitting near the door, shaking. His uniform was soaked. His eyes looked red. "Are you okay?" I asked. He didn't answer. He just nodded. But I knew something was wrong. I opened my bag. I had packed 2 meat pies. I gave him one. He shook his head. "I'm not supposed to take food from staff," he said. "I'm not staff." I smiled. "I'm just Adora." He smiled, small and shy. Then he took the pie. He ate slowly, like it was gold. That became our thing. Every few days, I gave him something. Bread, puff, water. He never asked, but I gave. He always said, "Thank you," always bowed his head a little. Then one day, he didn't come. Another guard was at the gate. A loud man with chewing stick. I asked, "Where is Emeka?" The man said, "He's sick. Maybe malaria." So the next day, I brought a flask of hot pepper soup, and when Emeka came back, I gave it to him. He smiled again. "You're kind," he said. "Too kind for this place." I didn't know anyone was watching. 2 women from HR started whispering about me. "She's always with the guards. Maybe that's the level she belongs to. Is she giving them food? What for?" One even laughed loud and said, "She must be begging for husband." I heard them, but I stayed quiet. Let them talk. A week later, the manager called me into his office. He was a tall man with gray hair and a sharp nose. "Is it true," he asked, "that you've been giving food to security staff?" I said yes, only once in a while. The night guard was hungry. He leaned forward. "That's not professional. It lowers the company's image." I didn't understand. "What image?" I asked softly. "Helping someone who's hungry?" He frowned. "You are here to work, not feed street boys." I felt my chest tighten. "Emeka is not a street boy," I said. "He's your staff." The manager slammed his palm on the table. "Enough. Pack your things. You're no longer needed here." Just like that, I was fired. No warning, no salary for the month, just shame. I walked out of the building with tears in my eyes. Emeka saw me at the gate. He stood up fast. "What happened?" he asked. I tried to smile. "Looks like they didn't like my pepper soup." He looked sad, but he said nothing. He just bowed his head again. One last time. I went home, sat in my room, held my two brothers close. I didn't tell them. Not that day. I just held them tight and said, God will make a way. But I was angry, not just for me, but for every poor person who is punished for being kind. I kept thinking about Emeka, how he smiled like he hadn't eaten in days, how he said thank you like it hurt to say it. I thought my story ended there, but I was wrong, so wrong, because 3 weeks later, that same building where they fired me was in the news, and Emeka was no longer just a guard. He was on the front page of the newspaper. One night, I forgot my ID at home. The morning guard didn't want to let me in, so I waited outside the gate. I sat near a bench beside the flowers. The night was quiet, dark. Then I saw him, Emeka. He was walking slowly toward the gate. His steps were strange, like his legs were shaking. Then it happened. He stopped, held the gate with one hand, and fell. Hey! I jumped up. Emeka. He was lying on the ground. His eyes were open, but tired. His lips moved, but no words came out. I rushed to my bag. I opened my food flask. There was jollof rice and fish inside. I knelt beside him. Eat, I said. You need food. He turned his face. No, he said. I'm fine. You're not fine. Eat before you faint again. He looked at me slowly, then took the spoon. His hands were shaking. He ate one bite, then two. Then he stopped. Tears ran down his cheeks. Why are you crying? I asked. He shook his head. Because it's been 2 days. What do you mean? I haven't eaten in 2 days, he whispered. I've been saving the small salary for my mother's medicine. My chest hurt. I didn't know what to say. So I just sat beside him, quiet, watching him eat. He didn't say thank you, but his eyes did. After that day, I brought extra food every night. Sometimes rice, sometimes beans, sometimes akara. He never asked. He always tried to refuse, but he always ate, and always with that same quiet smile. One Friday evening, I brought moi and custard. I gave it to him quietly near the gate. We were laughing about something funny, Daniel said on the phone. Then I heard it. Aha! So it's true. I turned. It was Miss Becky, the HR officer. She was standing behind the pillar, arms folded, phone in hand. What's true? I asked. She scoffed. You think we don't see you sneaking around with guards? You're fraternizing with junior staff. My heart started beating fast. I only gave him food, I said. He was hungry. She raised her voice. Save your story for HR. Monday morning. Be ready. I couldn't sleep that night. I held my pillow and cried. I was trying to help. That's all. Is kindness now a crime? Monday morning came. I walked into the HR office. Miss Becky had a printed paper. Official warning. Unprofessional conduct with security staff. I tried to explain. She didn't listen. She said, we don't mix classes in this company. You're a receptionist. He's a guard. You should know your level. 1 week later, I was called again. This time, they gave me a brown envelope. Termination letter. No explanation. No second chance. Just, you've broken company rules. My final salary was cut. They said, I didn't complete the month properly. They removed 14-0. I walked out of the building, shaking with shame. My eyes burned. As I passed the gate, Emeka saw me. He stood still. They fired you? He asked. I nodded. Because of me? No, I whispered. Because they forgot what kindness looks like. He watched me go. He said nothing, just bowed his head, like always. 2 weeks later, I was at home, still looking for jobs, still getting, no vacancies, still trying not to cry in front of my brothers. Then I got a message from Amina, the cleaner at the office. Adadora, come online now. Big wahala. Check Twitter. I rushed to open my brother's small phone. I typed the company's name, and there it was. Big headline. CEO's son disguises as guard staff fails loyalty test. My eyes grew wide. I kept reading. It said, Mr. Emeka Adigwe, son of CEO Felix Adigwe, went undercover as a security guard after 18 million was stolen by insider staff. Only one employee showed true character, a receptionist named Adadora, who fed him quietly without knowing who he was. The rest ignored or mocked him. One even got her fired for helping the help. I gasped. Emeka was the CEO's son? The one who ate my food? The one who sat near the gate writing in that small notebook? The one who cried over pepper soup? Then I saw the video. A company meeting. The CEO had returned from London. He was standing at the front of the office boardroom, red with anger. Miss Becky was there. So was the manager who fired me. The CEO shouted, "You fired the only decent human being in this building because she gave food to my son." The camera turned. Emeka was standing beside him, now in a sharp suit, clean haircut. He didn't smile. He just said, "She didn't know who I was, but she gave me everything she had." The CEO looked around the room and said, "From today, I want her back, but not as receptionist, as a stakeholder." I covered my mouth. I couldn't breathe. Me? Then another message came in from an unknown number. "This is Felix Adigwe. We owe you more than we can say. Can we talk?" I didn't reply for 5 minutes. I just sat there. My brother came in. "Sis, why are you crying?" I smiled. "Because someone remembered me." The next day, a black SUV came to my compound. A man in suit came out. He said, "Are you Miss Adaora?" I nodded. He smiled. "The CEO would like to speak with you. Please come with us." My brothers were scared. I was scared too, but I followed. We drove to a big office building, not the old one, a new one, clean, tall, glass everywhere. They took me to a big meeting room. There were snacks on the table, water in glass bottles, soft chairs. I sat alone. My heart was beating fast. Then the door opened. It was Mr. Felix Adigwe, the CEO, and beside him, Emeka. But this time, Emeka didn't wear a guard's uniform. He wore a blue suit, and he smiled. The CEO came to me. He held my hand. "Miss Adaora," he said. "Thank you for saving my son." I shook my head. "I only gave him food." He nodded. "That's exactly why I'm here." He sat down across from me. "My company is changing," he said. "We need people who still care. Not just degrees. Not just sharp suits." He took a paper from his folder. "This is a job offer," he said. "You will be my executive assistant." I froze. "But sir, I was just a receptionist." "You were a decent human being," he said. "And that is the highest rank in my company." I couldn't speak. Tears filled my eyes. Then Emeka spoke. "You saw me when I was nothing. That tells me who you really are." He added, "We're starting a new division for staff welfare, support, and kindness." The CEO pushed a second paper to me. "This gives you shares in the new division. You won't just work here, you'll help build it." My hands shook as I held the papers. I couldn't believe it. I was back, but not as the girl who sat by the door. I was sitting at the top table. Weeks passed. I moved into a small but beautiful flat company paid. My brothers started school again. I bought a fridge, a gas cooker, a real bed. Life changed, but I didn't forget who I was. The new division was called Better People Project. We created staff food programs, rest zones for cleaners and guards, free mental health support, scholarships for workers' children, birthday gifts for janitors, listening sessions for junior staff. Then one day, Emeka came into my office. He said, "We need a team leader for onboarding and HR." I looked up and smiled. I know the perfect person. Yes, I hired Miss Becky, the same woman who wrote me up, the same woman who laughed at my pepper soup. But this time, the chair she sat in was across from mine, and I was the one leading the meeting. At first, she couldn't look at me. "I understand if you don't want me," she said. I nodded. "But this is the Better People Project," I told her. "If we don't forgive, then we're no better." She looked down. "I'm sorry." I smiled gently. "You'll start on Monday." People were shocked. They asked me, "Why did you give her a chance?" I said, "Because someone gave me one too." Now Miss Becky works under my team. She's changed. She's kinder now. She always brings lunch for the junior staff, even the security guards. 6 months later, we had a company retreat. Staff from every office came. Managers, interns, guards, cleaners. There were chairs under big white tents, music, small chops, a bouncing castle for the kids. The CEO stood up to give a speech. He said, "Today, we celebrate not titles, not offices, not CVs, We celebrate character. He turned to me. Compassion is the new qualification, he said. She showed it when no one else did. She leads it now with grace. Everyone clapped. I stood there, my hands shaking, my eyes wet. Emeka stood beside me. Are you okay? He asked. I nodded. I'm not used to clapping. For me, he smiled. Get used to it. Later that evening, I sat under a tree. Daniel ran around the field with other children. My youngest brother was eating puff puff. And I was just watching the sun go down. The sky was soft orange, peaceful. Emeka came and sat beside me. He held something in his hand, a small box. My heart jumped. But when I opened it, it wasn't a ring. It was a silver badge. Engraved on it were the words, Edadora Ikenna, Director, Better People Project. He looked at me. This is just the beginning. Some people still laugh when you help the weak. They say you're soft. They say you're foolish. But let me tell you something. Kindness is not weakness. Kindness is power. It remembers. It rewards. It rises. They fired me for feeding a guard. Now, I design how every staff is treated. And the guard, he's still my friend. Still quiet. Still kind. But now, he owns the company. If this story touched your heart, do something kind today. Give food. Give time. Give peace. You never know. That person you help in the dark may one day light up your whole life. Kindly subscribe, share, and like this story. Thank you, and God bless you.